Now listen to this, talking about a deal that the British and Ukraine signed together. This is mind-blowing.
Margaret, let me tell you the most tragic part of this. The President Trump's idea for this economic arrangement was to...
Howdy, y'all. I'm Brylan. So once again, Putin, bad. Putin, not good. Also not good, forever wars that make politicians rich. Now the left and the mainstream media will try to convince you or indoctrinate you into thinking that the only morally right thing to do is to support the never-ending funding using American taxpayers' money towards a war that will never end and only continue to cause death and destruction. In fact, Zelensky warned that a deal with Russia is very, very far away. That's two varies if you didn't catch that. Real quick, would you consider hitting that thumbs up button? You know when you like this video, you're not agreeing with the insanity, but you're helping push it out to more people to help spread the truth. Ukrainian President Zelensky warned that a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia was likely very, very far away. And even after his chaotic exit from the White House on Friday, he said that he still expects to enjoy American support in the meantime. He said, "I think our relationship with the United States will continue because it's more than an occasional relationship," Zelensky said, adding, "I believe that Ukraine has a strong enough partnership with the United States of America." In fact, Trump's response to what Zelensky said about essentially there's not going to be an end to this war anytime soon. This is the worst statement that could have been made by Zelensky, and America will not put up with it much longer. It is what I was saying. This guy doesn't want there to be peace as long as he has America's backing, and Europe, in the meeting they had with Zelensky, stated flatly that they cannot do the job without the U.S. Probably not a great statement to have been made in terms of a show of strength against Russia. What are you thinking? In fact, I'd like to know your thoughts about this in the comment section below, because obviously people are very divided on this. In fact, you can see Europe having to pull their weight here. You know, the U.S. has given about $128 billion that we know of to Ukraine, and far surpassing any other country. In fact, it's only when you add up all the countries in Europe that it comes out to them giving a little bit more than what the U.S. has given to Ukraine. So yeah, the U.S. is absolutely leading the rest of the world in terms of funding Ukraine and this war. But after the confrontation in the White House the other day, Zelensky went to other countries, of course, and this is what Keir Starmer had to say after meeting with Zelensky.
First, we will keep the military aid flowing and keep increasing the economic pressure on Russia to strengthen Ukraine now. Second, we agreed that any lasting peace must ensure Ukraine's sovereignty and security, and Ukraine must be at the table. Third, in the event of a peace deal, we will keep boosting Ukraine's own defensive capabilities to deter any future invasion. Fourth, we will go further to develop a coalition of the willing to defend a deal in Ukraine and to guarantee the peace. Not every nation will feel able to contribute, but that can't mean that we sit back. Instead, those willing will intensify planning now with real urgency. The UK is prepared to back this with boots on the ground and planes in the air.
Wow.
Together with others. Europe must do the heavy lifting. But to support peace in our continent and to succeed, this effort must have strong US backing. We're working with the US on this point after my meeting with President Trump last week. And let me be clear, we agree with the President on the urgent need for a durable peace. Now, we need to deliver together. Finally, we agreed that leaders will meet again very soon to keep the pace behind these actions and to keep working towards this shared plan. We are at a crossroads in history today. This is not a moment for more talk. It's time to act, time to step up and lead, and to unite around a new plan for a just and enduring peace.
So not only are they essentially vowing to continue to fund this war forever, they're going to have boots on the ground, planes in the air. They're going to fight this war. This is what it's going to continue to do, is just draw in more and more countries to where, what do you call a war that has the entire world fighting in that war? But then he ultimately concludes with, well, this none of this can happen without the backing of the United States of America. Remember, none of these politicians, whether it is the United States of America or Keir Starmer over here, they're not just printing money that doesn't have any effect on the citizens of the country that this money is being printed in. You can't just print money and just throw it out and it just holds the same value but has no impact on economy. No, that's not how any of it works. Now, does this mean that makes Putin good? No, not at all. He's a monster. But we also have to look at the reality that continuing to fund this war without the peace deal that the Trump administration laid out, which is completely fair because it actually benefits both countries, which I know is like the worst thing you could possibly say today. The left, the mainstream media want you to think that if Americans, taxpayers, benefit at all from this deal, then that's like a bad thing. And that's not the case at all. There is a way that there can be peace while America and Ukraine benefit from it. Now listen to this, talking about a deal that the British and Ukraine signed together. This is mind-blowing.
Well, first off, they've got to change the fact that on the 17th of January, the British signed an agreement with Ukraine to have exclusive rights to those deals. Kirchner, this is a battle of dueling narratives. You can go check it out. This is on the British-UK website. It talks about this 100-year Ukraine and UK signed a 100-year deal over security guarantees and economic development.
Wow. So
what happened is that I believe President Trump and his team found out that they were being played. So this has become a set of dueling narratives. The BBC just said today there's massive protests here. Zach Andrews just said all the European leaders are behind Zelensky. We are being played. We, the United States, are trying to be signed up to a deal that we provide security guarantees to a economic development deal that Keir Starmer has already signed them up to do. So the first thing it has to do is people have to take a step back and be honest with what's really going on.
That is wild because, here's the deal. This is the actual UK government website showing that the UK and Ukraine sign a landmark 100-year partnership. But again, they want you to think that the US are the bad guys. It was all a setup for Zelensky. When in reality, a lot of the world is thinking that they're keeping the US in the dark here with these deals being made. And, that's what makes this kind of wild as well. Listen to this.
Margaret, it is impossible to have an economic deal without a peace deal. The sine qua non for an economic deal is that Ukrainian leadership wants a peace deal.
I thought this was a building block towards getting to
Well, it was supposed to be, but President Zelensky came into the Oval on Friday. There were three things that were going to be done. There was going to be a press conference. There was going to be a private lunch with 16 of us. And as you can see from Dan Scavino's the post on his X account, we were already set up to sign the deal. So it's unclear now. President Zelensky has thrown off the sequencing. And Margaret, let me tell you the most tragic part of this. The President Trump's idea for this economic arrangement was to further intertwine the American people and Ukrainian people and show no daylight, to show the Russian leadership that there was no daylight. And President Zelensky came into the Oval Office and tried to relitigate in front of the world the deal. And the place to have done it would have been in the private lunch.
Keep that in mind. This was a deal, and Marco Rubio talked about this as well. Right after everything that went down between Trump, Vance, and Zelensky, that there were deals already in place, like 5 days before this confrontation in the White House, and Zelensky and Ukraine insisted that he come to the White House and they have this conference and they do all this thing in front of the world. And when the mainstream media tries to make it sound like, well, all Zelensky is trying to do is get some more security measures within the deal so that, you know, to help secure them and protect them. What do you think the U.S. and Ukraine going into an economic partnership like this? That's exactly what it does. It ties the U.S. and the Ukraine together. In fact, watch these stunning statistics that CNN had to admit to and show live on air about how America feels between Biden and Trump when it comes to the Ukraine war.
Well, I think the easiest way we can kind of just ask this is, do Americans like the way that Trump's handling his job and compare it to how they felt about Joe Biden? So this is the net approval rating. You look at Joe Biden back in 2024, he was 22 points underwater. Holy cow. You look at Donald Trump, it's just a different planet entirely. I mean, the gulf between these two is wider than the Gulf of America or Mexico, depending on which side of the aisle you stand on.
We're not going to play this game. It's Gulf of America.
Look, at this particular point, Americans are giving Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt. He's doing considerably better than Joe Biden was doing on the handling of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. And so on this simple question, I think Americans are saying, okay, Donald Trump's doing all right on this.
What about specifically on how they feel about bringing the war to an end?
Yeah, okay. So, you know, look, questions on this can be quite complicated.
This is wild,
I think this kind of gets at sort of where the American trend line is. Americans on the Russia-Ukraine war want a quicker end of the war, but Russia keeps its captured land. Look at this, 50%. Bare majority coming in here. Support Ukraine's right to fight, even if it means a longer war. That's at 48. This is very, very close. But the trend line on this question is so important because that want a quick end of the war, look at this. You go back to August of 2022, it was at 31%. Now we're at 50%. I mean, that is a rocket ship upwards in terms of the Americans who want a quick end to the war.
Look at John chapter 14 with me here, verse 27. Jesus said this, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid." You know, the only true, genuine source of peace in this life, on this earth, is found in Jesus Christ. Having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ and surrendering our lives over to Him. You know, Jesus took our sin to the cross, and He shed His blood in our place so that His blood could cleanse us of the sins that we have committed against Him. Let's pray that the gospel would continue to be spread throughout the entirety of the world, and even within war-torn places, people will come to know Jesus Christ as their personal Lord and Savior, and they will have a peace that is beyond understanding. But hey, let me know your thoughts about all this in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, join this community. I would love to hear from you on a regular basis. And please, hit that thumbs up button. You know, when you like this video, it'll get pushed out to more people, and it would really help spread the truth. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.